Of course, welcome everyone. We're going to be doing like a Q&A session after this. So if you have any questions during the presentation, just throw it into the chat if it isn't disabled, or there's also a Q&A tool that you can use. And so before I hand it back over to Cam and JJ, I just want to highlight a special promote, which is when new clients sign up to BlackBull using Trading Nut's exclusive link. And you could probably find this on the Trading Nut website, and we'll share it in the chat during the webinar. If you use that link, you can qualify for our institutional account with a significantly reduced funding requirement. So normally it's a $20,000 requirement to access our institutional account. And the benefit of that is spreads starting from 0.0 and smaller commissions. But with this promotion, you can get started with just $2,000. So that's all I wanted to say. And now I'll hand it back to Cam and JJ. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Brilliant. Well, look, thanks for that, Mark. Look, thanks for having us as well. And folks, I'll tell you what, that is an awesome deal that he's got there. So institutional spreads for only $2,000 deposit. That's fantastic. Right, let's dive in. Okay, so we're going to first of all tell you all about this presentation in a second. But before we dive into it, we want to go over who we are. So I'm Cam Hawkins, the host of Trading Nut. It's a podcast. I've got over 300 traders that I've interviewed over probably the past 10 years. BlackBull's one of my sponsors, and so glad that they are, because they're a great outfit to work with. I've also got over 190,000 YouTube subscribers at the moment. I think it's like almost 194. There's like 1,500 plus videos over there. Also podcasts, interviews with traders sharing strategies, insights, tips, tricks, that kind of thing. It's a world to get lost into. I trade the gold 5-minute chart every day, and I've got expert level understanding of price action and technical analysis. And the reason for that is because I've been trained by the man you're about to meet, JJ, who I'm going to introduce you to now. So JJ, do you want to take it over and give the guys a bit of an update as to who you are?
Absolutely. Hi to everybody. I'm JJ. Bear with me a moment. I'm just trying to get the transition here. I've been trading now for a little over 12 years. I've amassed more than 25,000 hours of chart time, which has afforded me a deep understanding of price action and how institutions trade against retail traders. It's also given me an advanced understanding of institutional price levels. And having learned what I've learned, I thought it was about time to give something back to the trading community. So myself and Cam recently launched the Dynamic Traders Club, and here we are today.
And on that, just so you know you're in good hands today, here's what our DTC members or Dynamic Traders Club members have had to say already. So this has only been something we launched at the start of last month. You can see here the dates are quite early, like we've got April 23rd, 13th, 15th. So it's literally only last month. And these clients, they were members around the world, have come through, and we've had one guy learn the strategy, get a payout from a prop firm, and also pass another, or on his way to passing another evaluation. Like some of the trades that we've been seeing have been fantastic. Another guy who enjoyed the psychology part of the course, and then someone else who said the material was very well done, super clear, easy to follow. And also it seems like the results being posted are very positive early on, which they are. And here are some of those results. We've had people looking, I mean, I don't think the guy caught this trade, but it was like an 11R trade that was a potential winner had he taken it. Another guy here had a good couple of goes at it, and this one took a 3-to-1 trade, which means he risked 1 to get 3 reward. So you're in good hands today, folks. We're going to dive into this presentation and tell you about the truth about trading. It's not just the strategy. In fact, it's trading's silent killer. So you're going to find out what that is later on. Now, remember this for later. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, from Mr. Albert Einstein. Right, so whether you're starting or tired of struggling, this webinar is for you. Directly through no clear, robust strategy, Poor risk management, lack of discipline, over trading, strategy hopping, weak market understanding, execution errors, lack of patience, emotional trading. Look, I've interviewed over 300 traders, as I mentioned at the start of this, and trading psychology experts as well. And nothing really clicked emotionally until how JJ explains it in this webinar. So you're about to find out exactly what it is coming up very soon. Now, you also may be struggling indirectly through blowing personal accounts, jumping from course to course, copying signals that eventually fail, wasting money on prop firm challenges. I mean, did you know that the average trader spends about 4.5 grand on prop firm challenges and only 14% pass phase one of the challenge? Today, you'll find out how to avoid these common trading pitfalls. This webinar is also for any trader that would like to learn something that will help help transform their trading forever and overcome trading's silent killer, increase their chance of consistent profitability, and learn a secret that will simplify their trading. And you're going to need to stay to the very, very end to get that secret, very end of this webinar. Okay, so let's keep going. Right, so to start off with, why do most traders stay stuck? It's a case of treating the symptoms instead of the root causes. So most traders, like most doctors, focus on treating symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. They take painkillers like switching strategies, tweaking indicators, following signal services, rather than diagnosing and fixing the real problem. Until they treat the real cause, the symptoms, losing money, frustration, inconsistency will always return. The do-it-yourself home renovation disaster. You watch a YouTube video that says remodel your bathroom in a weekend with these simple steps. You start, but halfway through you realize you need special tools, plumbing knowledge, and patience. Like trading, what seemed easy at first turns into a mess if you don't understand the full process. But don't worry, you're in the right place to learn how to overcome or avoid the YouTube illusion and what 95% of traders consistently do, which is lose money. So I think we've all had a home renovation disaster like this. Now, harsh truth number one. A staggering 21 billion was lost by option and futures retail traders alone just in India over a 3-year period. That's 600 million a month just in India and excludes forex. So you don't really want to be in that group of people that are losing that much money. Harsh truth number two. Institutional smart money profits, so we call them the smart money, come largely from, can you guess, you. Today you'll find out why. But first, we want you to head to the poll page. And what I'm going to do is drop a link in the chat here to a poll page. Now, hopefully everyone's got that. It's tradingnut.com/DTC polls. Now, what you're going to find is 4 polls on that page. And we want you to fill in the first 2 polls. So I'm going to give you a second to jump in there. Poll number 1, we're going to go through that here. I'll have a look at the results. We're going to literally reveal them straight away. There are 4 polls here. We'll be going through all 4 of those in this presentation. So if you do have to duck out, do feel free to fill the other ones in. First poll, how long have you been trading? So an easy one. 6 months, up to 6 months, 6 to 12, 1 to 2, 2 to 5, or 5+ years. So that's the first one we've got. The second one is, are you consistently profitable? So yes, it's pretty simple. Break even. So you consider yourself a break-even trader. You're not consistently growing accounts every month. No, you're just not consistently profitable or even break even. Or the other option is you're new to trading, you don't even have an account yet. And you probably want to take up that BlackBull account offer because it's a good one. Right, so JJ, what do you think the results are going to be? And whilst you're having a think, I'm going to actually have a look at these results and see what they are coming in as. So let's have a look
well,
here.
I do enjoy these questions. My experience would probably say to me 2 to 5 years for how long have you been trading. As for are you consistently profitable, this is always a tough one. I would probably say that the majority would be no, not consistently profitable. That would be
okay. I've got a funny feeling that this is the link's not being displayed to everyone, or people aren't getting the link. I haven't seen any results come through, which is really weird. Link is not working. Okay, why is it not working? Let's have a look. Um, oh no, we got too many people going to it. I think you've pulled my site down. Loading but not working. Too much traffic. Yeah, I think we've had too much traffic to the site. That is a real pain. Okay, we might need to come back to that those polls when we do the next poll. I think everyone just stop hitting my site for 2 seconds because I think we've just pulled it down. Um, what we get you to do is we'll come back to that one in a second and we'll carry on. Okay, right. So it seems like people are on there. It's just the site's just getting overrun. Okay, we'll come back to those results in a second. So hopefully you guys can. Yeah, my whole site's down now. Can fill those in when you get a chance. We'll move on. So JJ, do you want to take over and tell us how long did it take you to become profitable?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my journey started a long time ago, a little over 12 years ago. I first started with a strategy system. It was a strategy system that I actually purchased. I knew very little about trading and charts at the time, and I felt the need to get my teeth into something and kickstart my trading journey, if you like. Now, this system, it indicated entries, it offered some trade management, and it provided predetermined exits. And that was exactly what I thought I needed, and that's all I needed. However, sorry, I should say that cost me $1,500, like I said, a little over 12 years ago. Okay. Now, I used that system. I took my first ever live trade, which was on the oil futures. And I was new to trading, so I was trading the minimal size, which was one contract at the time. My first ever live trade opened. It lasted for about 21 or 22 seconds, and the market just spiked, and I made 1,120 US dollars in that third of a minute. You can imagine I was elated, but that elation didn't last very long because it was about a further 2 minutes later, and I actually gave $750 of that back to the market. And that raised a big question for me. I was elated because I could make money very quickly, I realized, but I could also give it back just as quick. That raised a huge question. That sent me down a rabbit hole. And it took me 2 years of going down that rabbit hole of 14 to 16 hours per day, 7 days a week, total commitment, including holidays. So that was my initial part of my start of my trading journey. So it was a full 2 years of total commitment. So how long does it take to become consistently profitable? Well, you can expect the retail trader, us from home, to take on average 3 to 5 years. And the average trader has about a 4% chance of becoming consistently profitable. Now that sounds scary, but there's some good news. These numbers can improve dramatically. So when novices work alongside or can tap into a professional trader, studies show that a minority become profitable in 3 months. Most will take 6 months, and the rest will take 9 months. Now that's tapping into a professional trader. You can see that those timescales there reduced considerably from the 3 to 5 years for us trading from home. Those that are struggling after 9 months of sitting next to a professional trader really probably don't have the skills to trade consistently for the rest of their lives. So they tend to, well, not remain in the game, basically. Now, harsh truth number 3, 90% of new traders lose 90% of their trading capital within 90 days. Pretty scary. So why do you think most traders fail? How about some answers in the chat if we can?
Let's have a look. I'm not too sure if there's a delay on the chat. The poll seems to be working again now, folks. So I can see the results coming in, which is good. So have another go at it if you didn't get in there the first time. Okay, so we got emotions from Himal, Mario, Bad Edge, and psychology. Paul over trading. Rob, poor stop loss. poor risk management, emotions, shiny object syndrome, overtrading, Max Marshall, allow emotions to take over, poor risk management, that net loss over net profit, walking in the darkness never ends well, FOMO, not disciplined, inconsistency, over leveraging. Look, folks, I think you've got a great understanding here as to why most traders fail. Bad entries from Glenn, Diego, knowledge and auto control, and Maurizio, no risk control. Right. So thanks for those answers. JJ, why do they all
Okay.
fail?
Yeah. Okay. So here's why most traders fail. Now, as I explain these, it's important to understand that they're all interlinked. They all relate to each other. Okay. So let's start with the first one. No training at all, or poor quality training. So the lack of proper education leads to fundamental gaps with your trading, which in turn can lead to the lack of a robust strategy. So without a proven strategy, trading is largely based on guesswork. Now, that can lead to poor risk management. So without structure, traders can risk too much or too little per trade, which in essence is a discipline issue. So poor discipline, even with a good strategy, failing to follow the rules leads to bad decisions. And bad decisions will bring emotions into play. So undisciplined trading triggers fear, greed, and hesitation, which in turn is the lack of execution skills. So emotional trading can lead to poor entries, exits, and overall execution. Okay, that then induces strategy hopping. So the frustration from inconsistent results causes traders to abandon strategies. They think that if their strategy is not performing, we'll get a new strategy and that's the problem fixed. But they can that is so far from the truth. So if you're strategy hopping, you strategy hop onto the hamster wheel of doom. And this becomes a repeating process over and over again, unless the traders actually address the underlying cause, the root causes for the inconsistency with their trading, then they're just going to repeat this process and remain on the hamster wheel. And I have come across traders that have been on this hamster wheel for years upon years. Okay, so I wonder if this makes sense now. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. One of my favorite sayings that became my favorite saying when I got involved with trading, and I thought this absolutely fits. After the 2 years of going down the rabbit hole, for me, this was the number one. So the problem, most traders think a strategy is 90% of their trading success. And for good reason. YouTube gurus would have you believe a strategy is all you require. Watch this 2-minute video, use this simple strategy and earn $10,000 a month. But the reality is, when we try it, it doesn't really work. So the strategy at most is about 25% of what you need to become consistently profitable. Okay, but don't worry, we've worked hard to bring you the missing 75% by the end of the webinar. Now, what's my view on strategies? Okay, now having amassed many thousands of hours at the charts, I have been able to produce myself from scratch without taking ideas from YouTube or other traders, more than 70 strategies. So they're not repackaged. Okay, now that sounds a lot. You can say it is a lot, but I'm under no illusion that a strategy or strategies are just tools, and only about a quarter of what it is you need to become consistently profitable. I execute 12 strategies on a regular basis to cover all market conditions. I don't strategy hop. I strategy swap from a basket depending on what the market conditions are at the time. So they're my regular ones. Okay, pro traders are happy to give strategies away for free. Why? Because they know the strategy is not the fix. Okay, now I gave several strategies away last year. You can find them on at YouTube. And what we had was some good success with some traders, whereas other traders actually struggled. And you can stick around to see a little bit more on this just now.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I put up a YouTube video where JJ shared a full strategy. And look, in all honesty, only some could make it work. And it was interesting to see that some made it work and a lot of other people just couldn't stick to things. Like, so this guy here was one of the comments like, thanks, Cam. Great strategy for building discipline that's profitable. Week 4 and just finished another week trading 3 pairs, 6 trades, 5 wins. Now, this is kind of like unusual compared to the 300 plus traders I've interviewed. Most of them don't even get 6 trades in a week. And 6 trades in a week for this strategy is about right. And with JJ's actual knowledge, you can get way more than 6. But anyway, let's move on. So poll number 3 now. The good thing is the polls have started working. So I'm just going to put the poll link back up in the chat again. So everyone, you can still fill them in. I'm just going to hit refresh and get the final results on the first 2 polls before we dive into the third one. So make sure you fill this third one in now. Actually, let's do the third one. If you've ever switched strategy, what was the main reason? It didn't work immediately. I lacked confidence in it. I didn't follow the trade plan. I didn't give it enough time. I got emotional and abandoned it, or I've never used or even understood trading strategies. So poll results, let's have a look at those in a minute. But for now, praying that my site doesn't crash when I go into this, I'm just going to go and have a look at the results for for these polls that we've already got. So results. Okay. Rightio. So for the first one, which was how long have people been trading? What was the guess that you had, JJ?
2 to 5 years.
Okay, so the top one was 1 to 2 years. So people have been in it a moderate amount of time. The next one was actually 0 to 6 months. So a lot of new traders here. And then after that, it was 2 to 5 years, 5 years plus, and then 6 to 12 months. So yeah, so we've got a kind of a newish trading audience here versus people that have been around for a while, which is cool, which is good. You guys are going to learn something very useful in your trading career today. The next poll was, are you consistently profitable? So let's have a look at that. So, and what was your guess on this one?
Uh,
No, break
are you
even, yes.
consider no, no.
No.
Overall, I would say the majority
Yeah.
wouldn't be profitable.
So yeah, 41% had no as being profitable, 37 break even, so kind of even there, and then 12% was yes, and then there was a small percentage with 8% being they were just basically brand new to trading, didn't even have an account. So you guys are probably also going to want to be taking up that account offer. All right, let's have a look at this current survey that we've got here. Okay. Oh, geez, we're getting tons more results coming through now. Maybe those results have actually changed on the first 2. I might just double check the numbers there. I think they probably have. Let's see if they changed. Let's just see if they changed. Um, no, they kind of stayed. They stayed the same. In fact, it was even for break even and no, so they were tied for number 1. And then the years of trading. Oh, 0 to 6 months was the winner on that, and those 2 sort of flipped around. Let's have a look at that last one here, which is this one that we've got. The results are... Okay, so what was your guess on this one again, JJ?
On this question,
Yeah.
if you ever switch strategies, I know a lot lack confidence in a strategy. So that's probably it's either going to be that one or I got emotional and abandoned it.
You got it right. I lacked confidence in it was number 1 with 36%. Where did emotions come in? That was about 4th with 13%. In fact, it was 4th equal with didn't work immediately and didn't follow the trade plan. Sorry, 2nd equal. And then we had at last didn't give it enough time. Okay, so interesting stuff there. Right, so folks, we've got one more poll, so don't forget that. You may as well stay on that poll page. If you ever switch strategies for any of those reasons, your subconscious hijacked you, and it hijacked you for good reason. And today you'll find out why and how you can fix it forever. So how do you fix it? We're going to dive into that 4th poll now, which is really more of a quiz. So the question is, what is the primary focus of a professional trader? To make money, to not lose money, i.e. manage risk, to keep their emotions in check, to buy and sell assets, to develop a profitable strategy, or none of the above. So what does everyone think? Chuck in the results, chuck in your answer to poll 4. The link is there in the chat. We're just going to hit refresh on this and see what we get and pray that the thing just doesn't break again. Okay, I think there's our results, which is great. Okay, so JJ, what do you think people have put in here as the primary focus of a professional trader?
Probably the second one, to manage risk.
To manage risk. Okay, so geez, you got it right again. You're on fire today. You're on fire. 42%.
I'm having a lucky day. I'm having a
Yeah.
lucky day.
42% was by far, right? So 42%. The next one was 19%, and that was to make money and to develop a profitable strategy. None of the above was at 10%, and then the lowest one was to buy and sell assets. So, folks, thanks for having a guess at that. The answer we were looking for, and I think there's a few of you that got it at 9%, none of the above, right? So, well done for those people that said none of the above. So what is the primary focus then? We want you to put your answers in the chat. So can you tell us what you think is the primary focus if it isn't any of those ones, right? So this is the primary focus, the thing they're most focused on. What do you think? Chuck them in the chat. What's your ideas? It's a tough one because we've already given you 5 options and well, 4 options, so 5 options plus none of the above. So what do you think it is? Chuck your answers in the chat if you think you know what it is. And there's no right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong on this. It's just have a guess. Mario, to follow a process. Paul, price action. Jason Bartel, to win. Rob T, financial freedom and mastery of the art of trading. Gurinder, market conditions. Maurizio, you only have a strategy. Your job is to fine tune, risk control, and monitor what sticks to the rules. Dean Robinson, getting my money into your trading account, I think. Spirios Pipus, observation and understanding. Okay, guys, there's some great answers in there, and I think a couple are actually touching on the answer that we've got here, which is gonna be the most beneficial for you. So, JJ, over to you. The primary focus
Okay.
of professional traders
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, the primary focus of a professional trader is execution of a process. So kind of well done to Mario there. He was very, very close by saying following of a process. Okay, so execution of a process is the primary focus of professional traders. Why? Because with poor execution, all the other trading elements are rendered absolutely useless. They're meaningless. Okay, so the act of trading is executing a process stroke plan. Okay, so professional golfers execute a process. Professional traders also execute a process. Both trader and golfer rely on repeatable, structured routines to succeed. They face uncertainty, but they trust their process to perform under pressure. Mastering trading is about executing with consistency, just like an athlete, as do all of these. Surgeons, pilots, military special forces, athletes, as we've just mentioned, firefighters, architects, and the list goes on. Okay, so if I were to give you a pilot's pre-flight checklist, does this make you a pilot? I think we know the answer to that now, right? So therefore, does having a strategy make you a trader? I think we know the answer to that as well. Okay, so what is trading's silent killer? You find executing a process hard. So we're instinctively wired to fail at trading, especially when real money is on the line. It's opposite to life, and I'm going to come to that on the next slide. Okay, so your subconscious struggles with risk avoidance. So your subconscious is a built-in safety mechanism that you were born with. I'm sure we've all heard of the subconscious. It's there to keep you safe, and it keeps you away from risky situations. However, in trading, you have to take risk or you can't make any money. So that creates a conflict, an internal conflict in the trader's mind. Okay, and most traders don't even recognize that this is actually happening. So first of all, you need to know what battles to fight. But if you don't even know what battle you're in, how can you actually fight those battles? Okay, and they are battles, and they go on deep in the mind. Okay, so if you're thinking, this isn't me, I'm not suffering from any of this, then say hello to your ego. So when safety backfires, how your subconscious hijacks execution. Okay, so we know, we've established that the subconscious keeps you safe. And it does that in your everyday life. Okay, an example of that would be duck into and avoid an object. You're playing with friends, you're throwing a ball around, you're not paying attention, the ball is coming towards you, you see it at the corner of your heart, at the corner of your eye. At the last moment, you instinctively duck, or you raise your hand to stop the ball from hitting you in the head. Now, think about it. If you'd have stopped to have thought about what you had to do to stop the ball hitting you in the head, the ball would have hit you in the head. So that was your subconscious acting on your behalf to keep you safe without you even thinking about it. No different to pulling your hand away from a hot surface, slamming on the brakes to avoid a collision whilst you're driving your car, holding your breath underwater, freezing up when startled. So these are all examples of how your subconscious keeps you safe in your everyday life. Now let's take a look at how your subconscious works against you where trading is concerned. Okay, now cutting winners short before they disappear. What's going on here is you are finding yourself in a profit. You've got some profit. It might be the first profit you've had in a little while. Okay, and your subconscious is saying to you, lock that profit in. You're safe now. You've got a profit. Your risk is gone. And invariably, you end up closing the trade too early and just to watch the trade continue and do well, but you're not involved. You took profits too soon. So that's your subconscious working against you. Letting losers run. This is where you're in a losing trade. And some traders will move their stop loss further away. And you see your subconscious saying to you, don't take the pain yet. Okay, so your subconscious is trying to protect you from emotional discomfort and pain and keep you safe. Hesitation. Okay, you're trading a strategy. The last one or two trades didn't work. Your subconscious is going to remember this and the discomfort that you found when you took those losing trades. So it's going to step in and try to avoid that from happening again. And it's a very, very powerful emotion that's going on in your brain. And it's saying to you, play it safe. Your rules say, I must take the strategy. It's met my rules. It's met the rules of the strategy. I must take the trade. And invariably, you end up not taking the trade. And that was likely the trade that went on that day to have recouped all the profits you lost prior to that and probably left you with some profits on top. Okay, over trading after losses. Okay, you're taking a few losses. Now you're forcing trades and you're not sticking to your trade plan. Okay, now your subconscious is saying, fix the mistake now. Get back into your comfort zone. Fix it now. And it's pushing you to take trades that are not in your trade plan. And finally, we got revenge trading. You got angry, you've lost 10 or 20% of your account. You feel as though you need to get it back. And your subconscious is saying you need to win back control fast. It's all about removing the emotional discomfort. So you end up revenge trading. Now, emotional threats feel just as real, but reacting to them damages your edge. So the subconscious doesn't know the difference between physical danger and emotional discomfort. That's why mastering execution means retraining the brain and not switching the strategy. Okay, now don't worry, there is a breakthrough. So how did I do it? And I believe that all traders have an issue with the execution dilemma. Okay, I noticed there was an issue when I was getting too many trades that didn't match the back test. That raised the question, what was going wrong? I would back test, I would get good results, and then I'd actually trade it live, and the results were not as good. So there was a gap there. There was a profit gap there. But what was going wrong? That was the question. I would trade the session, and then I would get obviously my live results, and then I would go back and look at that session and say, well, I actually could have done much better, but I didn't. So what was going wrong? Yeah. Now, having been in business all my life since I left school and had many people working for me in the past, I was already disciplined and I had a built-in system to hold myself accountable. But I didn't have a roadmap on how to use it within the trading arena, if you like. Yeah. So it took 2 years to overcome the execution dilemma because I didn't have the knowledge how to use my own capabilities in trading. Okay. And the penny finally dropped when I created a logical and repeatable process to follow. That's absolutely key. A logical and repeatable process to follow. And then the rest was repetition, repeat, execute, execute, execute. And if you repeat something often enough, then you will become proficient at it. However, there's the accountability gap, which I've just touched on. Traders lack a built-in accountability system. And the best execution comes from accountability. Most traders don't have a built-in system to review their mistakes properly. That's why they repeat them over and over and continue to do so. And then this becomes a bad habit to break. And you find yourself on another but different hamster wheel. And there's also the discipline trap, why most traders fail to follow their own rules. Okay. Now, even novice traders know that discipline plays a large role, but how? Well, most traders believe discipline is about trying harder, but it's actually about having a system that forces you to follow rules. Traders require a solid structure to execute better, but true discipline and accountability require an entirely different level of work. And most people or most traders just don't know this. Yeah. So the hidden work behind successful execution, pre-trade rituals, mental conditioning, building an accountability system, real-time discipline enforcement, emotional regulation and recovery systems, adaptability and decision-making under pressure, post-trade reflection, and data-driven adjustments. Now, are we feeling overwhelmed? Well, don't worry. We've made this super easy for you, but more on this later. Okay, now harsh truth number 4. So we've established that even with a rock-solid strategy, poor execution will destroy your results. Okay, now remember these, see if you can remember these from earlier. Just one of these will reduce your edge. Combined, they will destroy it. Okay, no clear or robust strategy reduces your edge. Poor risk management reduces your edge, as does lack of discipline, overtrading, strategy hopping, weak market understanding, execution errors, lack of patience, emotional trading. They all reduce your edge. Your strategy, let's say, has a 70% edge. That's going to get eradicated. The more of these issues that you have, the more that edge is going to get depleted. So what you need to ask yourself is, how big is your edge now?
Well, thanks for that, JJ. That's basically the end of the webinar here, folks. But don't forget, we said at the start, there's a secret that will simplify your trading, and you're about to find out what that is now. First of all, a question for you that you can answer in the chat as well. So do you ever struggle with understanding price charts? So a simple yes or no is the best way to do this. So in the chat, just a yes or no. Do you ever struggle with understanding price charts? So that's where you're looking at price action, you're looking at the candles going up and down, you're thinking, what the hell does that mean? I don't understand what that candle means. I don't understand why it's done this or why it's come down here when it shouldn't have. I thought it wasn't going to do that. Just a yes or no. Do you ever struggle with understanding price charts? So we got 50-50 at the moment. So 100% yes. Jason's no. Mario's no. He's all good. Hamal, yes and no. Paul, yes. Ben, yes. 50-50. Nick, yes. Diego, no. With time it gets better. Lots of tech and info. Okay, right. So you got a bunch of stuff there. There's possibly one of those accountability things and a bit more discipline in there built into it. Fontula, yes. Tutor, foul tutor. Lester, yes. Okay, right. So there's a bunch of you that do struggle with this. Understanding price charts. I mean, I was able to, I struggled. Look, I'll be honest, I struggled for years until I met JJ. I kind of I thought I knew a lot, but I didn't really. Now I've got a very, very good understanding of what price actually is telling me when it's doing things. So on that note, if you want to learn a unique way to simplify technical analysis and price action, we put together a free video along with a free PDF guide to download. All you got to do is head to this link here, tradingnut.com, BB webinar. Now, let's not all head there at once because it's probably going to pull down the site again. But yeah, look, there's a free video that JJ's put together which goes into a lot of detail as well as this free PDF guide. This is going to be useful no matter what. So go and pick it up at that link there. And if you are still on that poll page, and I see someone has managed to find it, but there's a secret poll hidden on this image here. So this little triangle, go and click it, fill that poll in, and that will send you to the page BB webinar, which is here. Folks, thanks for watching. Thanks, JJ, for sharing, and thanks, Mark, for allowing us to host this webinar on your platform. I suppose if you've got any questions, chuck them in the Q&A or chuck them in the chat, and we'll get on to answering them. And there's that link again, tradingnut.com/BB webinar. If you do want to take up that free video and PDF to walk away with at the end of this show. So
Yeah, that was
have we
great.
got questions
Thanks,
coming through,
guys.
Mark?
Yeah, I've got a few. Someone was asking about whether they could get the PowerPoint, but should just note that we're going to upload this video to YouTube in a couple of days. So I'll also be able to review the PowerPoint with the talking points from JJ and yourself.
Okay. Well, like, yeah. So I think, I mean, getting the PowerPoint probably not. I mean, we spent a lot of time on this one, so it's probably not going to be that easy to get the PowerPoint. But definitely, I suppose there's a replay available on TradingNut as well if you do want to check that out earlier. But there's also this, as Mark said, another way to get access to it. Anything else, Mark?
And yeah, we've got a couple questions about the promotional link being used by existing clients. My understanding is that it's only for new clients, but maybe you've heard otherwise.
It's up to you guys. I suppose you're the one. Yeah, it's on BlackBull. I'll let you make that call, Mark. I see somebody, Dean Robinson, saying, "What software do you do trade with?" So JJ and myself trade with cTrader. BlackBull's got cTrader. I trade through BlackBull cTrader. It's a fantastic piece of kit. I mean, you're the one that got me onto it, JJ, weren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just found it a little bit more user friendly, really, than shall we say MetaTrader at the time. MetaTrader I just felt was a bit antiquated. Although it's a stable platform, I'm not talking ill of MetaTrader. I even struggled a little bit when I first started with cTrader because it's a retail platform, and I first started with TradeStation, which is quite an extensive, sort of more professional platform. But yeah, it's come a long way. It's come a long way since their launch, and it's getting better and better as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to trade with MetaTrader as well, and it's it took me a long time to transition to cTrader for it because I was building EAs and stuff with MetaTrader, and but now I'm fully there now and loving it because it's a proper trader's platform. Somebody asked cTrader or TradingView. I mean, there's two different kind of beasts. I mean, cTrader is how I mean, you don't really know TradingView, do you, JJ? But I mean,
I'm aware of it. I visit occasionally, but I don't. Yeah, just for reference more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think cTrader is if you want to have like multi-chart setups with very specific setups. I mean, I've got a video actually on my channel which there's 21 minutes how to master cTrader, and it's pretty much everything that JJ's taught me. It's got almost 100,000 views, and it'll tell you everything you need to know to set your cTrader up in a way that's really effective. I would go cTrader over TradingView because TradingView's obviously web-based and it's just a little bit more clunky. It's not as finessed if you want to be a serious trader. So I think for serious traders, cTrader. For somebody who's just going to use maybe one or two charts or just likes one chart, then TradingView should be okay. I mean, I've created myself a a little tool to help me get in and out of trades in cTrader, which I find has been a game changer. So using that tool, and I've uploaded a free version of it to the cTrader marketplace. You can actually, yeah, have your risk management done. It's all just click buttons on the chart and that kind of thing. Mark, any other questions? I'm having a look here, but I can't keep up with them.
Got something about EAs for MT5 versus cTrader, but it's more of a statement than a question.
Okay, and any questions on the presentation today? Has anyone got any questions on that? Chuck them in the, you can chuck them in the chat, I suppose.
Yeah, someone's asking if there's going to be a part two.
A part two. Well, we haven't got a part two, but we can always come back for a part two. I mean,
they're after solutions.
If people would like to chuck in the comments or let us know what they would like to see in a part two, that would be useful for us, because we can create a part two if you need a part two. We've obviously got the Gold Rush Alpha that we've recently launched, and that's over there on Trading Nut. So if you want to get more or hear more from JJ or myself, then that's probably the place to go. But yeah, part two, we can probably, if we've got a topic, we can probably come up with something for a part two for sure. Let's have a look. Is there any, so chat, okay, that was all chat disabled stuff. Oh, okay, we covered the mistakes. Is there a list of solutions? Well, the solutions were listed. This is for Mario. The solutions were actually listed in this in the slides. And to be fair, I mean there's a lot of work that goes into the solutions, and this is part of what we've created as part of the Dynamic Traders Club. JJ's put together some programs that do cover how to actually overcome these issues, so you can start executing robotically. So that's the sort of in-depth solution. But if you have a look at the replay, you'll see that we actually go through and talk about things like the accountability gap. The what were the other two things, JJ?
The discipline trap.
Yeah, sorry, the discipline trap was the other one, and the tools used to. In fact, we can go back and show you on this presentation. So unfortunately, we've got to click through all of these things here, but yeah, so it's the hidden work, right? So this is the hidden work, and I think there's yeah, so discipline trap. So the hidden work. These are the solutions here, and this is what JJ spent a lot of time coming up with, how these can be, I suppose these skills can be, and I suppose disciplines can be transferred to other traders out there. So yeah, that's the work there, and it's, as you can see, too much for a presentation of this nature, but it's definitely there. All right, there's a couple more questions here. I'm assuming you're looking for us to sign up to Trading Nut or Dynamic Traders Club. If so, any of your trainers based here in New Zealand? Max, I'm actually based in Wellington. So if you're unaware, I'm actually based in Wellington. So, and to date, nobody's accosted me on the street. So if you do see me around, then yeah, feel free to have a word and let me know you saw me on the BlackBull podcast. Sorry, BlackBull webinar. And we've actually got a few New Zealand clients in the Dynamic Traders Club already as well, which, I mean, I've seen clients coming through from a lot of different things, and funnily enough, that's been the one that's had the most New Zealand clients join out of all the things I've been involved with over the last decade. So it is, yeah, it is. It seems to be a resurgence in trading in New Zealand, I suspect. Can we ask questions re Gold Rush Alpha? Max is in Wellington as well. Whereabouts, Max? What suburb are you in? Enjoying the wind today, by the way. Gold Rush, yeah, you can ask some questions about Gold Rush Alpha for sure. Karori. Oh, yes, indeed. It is. It is very windy in Karori. I'm not there. Um, Diego from Colombia. We'll just wait around, shall we, Mark, and see if we got any more questions coming through. It seems like people had some questions on Gold Rush Alpha. In fact, there is a chat on that page if you do end up there. We got Maurizio from Auckland, by the looks of it, in the chat. Just proof that I am from New Zealand. I know what he's talking about. Real Matty. Gosh, we're all we're all in New Zealand enjoying the windy weather. I played golf up in Otaki last week, Gary. Pukekohe, Lower Huts, Glenn from Lower Hut. I'm gonna have to walk around with a mask on soon. Stephen from Auckland. I thought BlackBull was a New Zealand firm. Yes, it is, Patrick. It's based in New Zealand, but I think they've got offices. Well, I know they've got offices like all around the world, Mexico, the UK, Southeast Asia, tons of places. Okay, so Paul Templeton, it mentions trend conditions, indicators, range warning alerts, 5-minute gold alerts, and 1 hour alerts. I'm assuming that the alerts are effectively signals and the indicators are downloadable or applicable to either cTrader or TradingView. Okay, right. So Paul, the alerts are not signals per se. It's not like buy here, sell there. It's very much a condition. So we're in a trend. There's a range. Be aware kind of alert. 5-minute alerts are when selling conditions on a 5-minute chart or buying conditions on a 5-minute chart are underway. And then the same for a 1 hour chart as well. There's also a chart that you can actually have a look at on Discord. All the alerts are through Discord, so all the alerts come either to your phone via Discord or they're you go into the Discord chat room that we've got, community, and can have a look at the chart, the 5-minute, 1 hour chart, and just follow that as a chart on your machine. So they're not applicable to cTrader or TradingView. You can trade on whatever platform you want. You don't actually get access to the indicator or anything. You don't need to do anything technical. It's all there for you. Just be able to access the Discord and join the community there. Oh man, there's a lot of Kiwis here. This is probably the first time I've actually ever done anything where there's been so many from New Zealand. Prashad, everyone working from home, no doubt, with the wind from Island Bay. Um, over 2K offers refers to the funding requirement for the BlackBull Market Institution account when using the exclusive link requires trading a link from trading. Usually this requires 20K in funding. Oh, okay, that's you, Mark. Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, so that's you sending a message to me, right?
That was me
Okay.
answering a question a couple above that.
Okay. That was sent directly to me, by the way. You didn't have it set to everyone.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Maybe you just want to clarify that then.
Yeah. Okay. So Mark just sent me a message. I'll just post it here to everyone. Um, where is the link anyway? I mean, is there a link that they know how to click or?
Maybe you want to share it from your website.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just grab that link. Yep. Why is this not loading? Yeah. Something went wrong.
And we'll send out the link in
Oh, here we go.
an email as well to the attendees.
Okay, here we go. It'll probably say something different on the it'll probably say something different on the actual page, but I assume if people reference this 2K offer that they're gonna be able to get access to it. So maybe if you sign up, then Yeah, so if you sign up, do the deposit, and then contact BlackBull, I suppose would be the way to go forward. Can we get ECN institutional account opened up for ECN Prime level? Okay, that's for you, Mark. Rob T.
Yeah, that's I messaged you on by mistake as well. That's what that guy's saying is correct.
Ah, okay, right. Okay, yeah, that's correct. That's correct. I'm sure there must be some BlackBull events in New Zealand that people like Prashad can sign up to.
Not that I'm aware of, but if you're part of our mailing list, you'll hear about anything coming up.
Okay. Um, is there a different? Is this different to the BlackBull Alpha Flow accounts from Steve?
Sorry, Steve, I've never heard of this Alpha Flow
I've
account.
never heard of it either. So I was. Is it 2K US or 2K New Zealand or Australia? What's the currency for the 2K?
I believe it is your local currency.
Local currency. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right, I suppose we'll stay on for a couple more minutes, see if there are any more questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Before everyone's Zoom meeting start at 1 p.m. New Zealand, or wherever you are in the world. Your clients might be interested in AlphaFlow AI. Oh, this is somebody trying to plug something. Viliami from Tonga. I should have asked this at the start. Where's everyone from? Oh, he's not plugging. Okay. All right, Steve. Okay. Couple of minutes and then we'll wrap this thing up. What are my main channels, Jason Kwan? I'll post them. Well, in fact, if you go to tradingnut.com, you can pretty much get them. I believe they're down the bottom. Oh, actually, or my Instagram. I think this link will get you there, whether you're on the phone or wherever. Remain from Christchurch as well. Great session. Thank you, Hamal. Cool session. Thank you. Okay, right. Brilliant. Okay, Prashad's looking to open up an account. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Lester. JJ, are you all ready to wrap this baby up?
Yeah, for sure. I'm all good. Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Folks, if you've got any questions, you can find us on Trading Nut. There's a little chat window over there as well if you get to that. So feel free to chuck something in there if you've got a question. And email address is probably support@tradingnut.com will be the best way. I'll just use the contact form on this site. Thanks for hosting again, Mark and BlackBull.
All right. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, guys.
Cheers,
Yeah,
mate.
you're welcome.